Welcome back, everybody, to your El Paso Running Podcast. Whether you're listening up for your first mile or chasing that new PR, this podcast was created for runners of all levels and to support the wonderful running community that we have. I'm your host for the show, Dr. Maria Fuentes, and each episode we dive into expert advice, inspiring stories, and the latest running trends and local events, helping you stay informed, motivated, and connected. So let's hit the round, running together and continue growing and learning together. So before we start, let me give you some reminders of upcoming races. We have Corazon de Niño. It's going to be Sunday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, of course. That's going to be the 7th event. Make sure to donate. All the money goes to open heart surgeries of kids in Juarez, Mexico. And so it's such a noble cause. It keeps growing. I love seeing more people every year. So make sure to support them. Then we have the 4th annual Dave Frazier Memorial 5K Run and 1 mile walk. The students at the Emmanuel Christian School are trying to build a gym actually for the students for strength and conditioning. So that money is going to go ahead and support the school and build that gym. So if you want me to share your event, please contact me on Instagram, usually at Dr. Fuentes Runs, and share your information with me so I can share it to the community. This space is created for you, so make sure to send me that information. So today's topic, I'm excited about today's topic. Okay, I'm gonna put like a hint right there because I already know in the show, in my Instagram and everywhere, right? But just to get into the topic and into the mood, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of information of who were the first women who actually were the trailblazers that have helped created a path for us women and be able to run and compete in races and be able to go run all of these marathons, right? Well, I found that back in 776, way back there, we're going to go into history right now. In ancient Greece, young women actually took part in what they call the Hieron Games. So this was a series of foot races to honor the Greek goddess Hera. So that was a long time ago. But it was from 776 all the way to 1896. So that was almost like 2,000 years, right? The day after the men-only marathon, there was like this Greek woman, Stamata Refidi. She ran the whole marathon course for the first modern Olympic Games, but they allowed her to run the course after the men actually ran the marathon. Then we jump all the way to 1922. That was the first Women's World Games that were held in Paris. And in 2026, we have the famous Londoner Violet Piercy, who became the first woman to run a marathon recognized by the International Association of Athletics Federations. And she finished with an astonishing time of 3:40:22. So that was like the first official, like 3:40. Okay, that's amazing. All right, so 1928, the Olympic Games finally opened 5 track and field events to women, but they closed it because actually women were collapsing after their 800 meters. Wow. So because they were collapsing, they decided to close these events from running more than 200 meters. But that was in 1928. And then we have the famous Catherine Switzer. In 1967, she was the first 20-year-old woman. She officially ran the Boston Marathon. It was a traditionally all-male race, but she went ahead. She put her bib number 261, and she ran it against the opposition of race officials. There was even a race official, a man who tried to actually remove her from the course, but she persisted. And I love the fact that she's like, "Nuh-uh, you're going to let me finish. I don't care." She went ahead. She had the guts, the courage, and she went against all the adversity and finished that Boston. And of course, the impact of women like her that she ran and she set the path for us in the running world in long distance. Later, I'm almost done with history, okay? 1972, we had 6 women actually were allowed to run the New York City Marathon with the condition that they start 10 minutes ahead before men. So at the gun, they sat down in protest. We're like, we're going to wait the 10 minutes and then run with everybody. I love that.
Go them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then finally, in 2003, we have the famous Paula Radcliffe. She runs the London Marathon in 2:15. 25, which was a record that stood there for a long time for women. But finally, last year in October 2024, Ruth Chepngetich of Kenya, she set the women's marathon record at the Chicago Marathon, finishing with 2:09:56 and becoming the first woman to break a 2:10 barrier. I cannot even break the 2:10 in a half marathon, and this woman is just... But that is so amazing. But wow. Okay, so all of these women before came and they put a little bit of courage and guts and have the heart to go ahead and establish a path for us to in the running world. So I think today's guests, they're trailblazers, right? Because they're empowering a community of young girls. They're setting an example, of establishing an environment, a safe space where girls can actually come together, support each other, and feel in a safe zone where they're supported by other girls and achieve their personal goals through running. So I love seeing them. I know they barely began that I was stalking your Instagram in February 2024, and I've been following you like all year long. You guys, what you're doing and your impact in the community, how you're growing, your love for what you do, and you can see it right away. You can see like in a group when they put like their heart into what they believe in that, right? They have that vision, that community of support for other young girls, and I just love what you're doing, and I think everybody else can feel it as well. And I know you mentioned that it's not only about the miles, but finding strength, support, and friends every step of the way, and I love it so much. So yes, of course, it's the Girls from the 915. Yay! Welcome, girls. So let me introduce you quickly to my guest. We have Daniela Carrillo. I have her here on my left. She's the co-founder of Girls from the 915. She started in March of 2024 to create a safe space for women to get into running or to simply continue their journey, but also to create that community to bond with like-minded women. And it's so important to find people, that have that like-minded set and that goal, because that's what is going to push you and it's going to help you accomplish your dreams, right?
You're so cool.
We haven't talked about you yet.
Cheers. Daniela, you're super cool, for sure. Then we have Nicole Hipp. She's a personal trainer. She has done several 70.3 Ironmans. Yeah, damn, good girl. That sounds so scary and amazing and powerful.
It is really scary.
That sounds so cool. She was a collegiate swimmer. She battled with an eating disorder, so is now heavily focused on helping other women combat body image issues and live a healthy lifestyle. She is a Girls Run the 915 pacer. And welcome, Nicole. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you girls here with me. And Jazmine Cardenas. She's also a Girls Run the 915 pacer. She started running recently and has progressed in her running journey through our community. She's now doing several half marathons in the past year. So go, girl.
3 half marathons in the last, not even less than a year.
Damn,
Your first in 1 year.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So, well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited and happy for everything that you guys are doing in the community. You're like such a great example, and I just love to follow your journey.
Thank you. We're super excited to be here.
Yeah.
I was actually very excited today because this is the first podcast where we invite pacers on, and it's always nice to get that perspective as well. So I'm actually excited to hear what you guys have to say.
All right, girls. So, okay, first things first. How did you start this running journey and with the group?
Well, so this was started by myself and by Ariane, my friend. We had always known each other since I think elementary, but we kind of we're on different paths. She went off to college in California, and then she came back, and we were both running long distance, but there wasn't a lot of other girls running long distance. And I think one run club had just started, Run For It had just started, so we were like, oh, we're both running, like, let's go to that run club together. And we went, and we were like 2 of 5 girls, like the 30 people there. We were like, oh, we have to sprint to keep up with these people. Like, we need a space for women to feel comfortable getting into running, especially because we saw running was starting to pick up, and a lot of other girls that we knew as our friends were starting to get into running. And we're like, oh my God, it's crazy that all these girls are starting running and they don't know that other girls are also starting running and they could be doing this together. Of course. So we would see all these other girls run clubs all over the US on TikTok. Social media now is so awesome for that.
It's so weird to talk about too.
What?
It's weird to talk about social media.
Yeah.
You're talking about it. If I talk to social media about my grandparents, like to my grandparents, they're like, Facebook? There's more now?
How many apps are there now? A lot. But yeah, we just saw it through social media and we were like, okay, we can bring this to El Paso. There's no reason why our city of El Paso can't have something. Like if you see something in a bigger city, I always tell that to everyone. Like if you see something you like in a bigger city, bring it to your city. Instead of being like, hey, El Paso doesn't have anything. El Paso's so
Yeah.
do something cool in your city then and change that. So that's what we did. And obviously the girls loved it. We could tell that the community of El Paso really needed that safe space for women. And I think that's why we've kept going, because we've just received such awesome feedback.
Yeah, and I know you've created that safe space, especially because sometimes as girls, you're saying you want to go to a run club, and sometimes you feel a little bit intimidated by all these runners. You see them all pro and the clothes and everything, and you feel like, okay, maybe I don't belong here, or I'm not there yet. So it's very important to create that safe space where you feel welcome. Like, I'm starting, that's okay, but you feel already part of that group, right?
You bring up a really good point too about other run clubs and the pacing and how fast everything is, because I've been to a lot of other run clubs in a lot of different cities, and everyone is sprinting and going as fast as they can. And myself as a female, I can't go that fast sometimes, or sometimes I don't want to go that fast.
Same, Nicole, same.
Yeah, so having the pacers, but also just having a community of women, you feel a lot more safe if you want to go and walk, and that's okay. But for other larger run clubs, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
So that's something that makes our run club very different and unique than any other run club I've seen. We have pacers for each pace group. So the fastest we'll have is like 8-minute miles all the way to our run walk group. Mm-hmm. So anytime I get a girl that's like, oh, I can't run more than a mile, I'm like, okay, who cares? Like, we have girls who will even come and walk the whole 3 miles. And I think that makes it even more encouraging. But also, I think, like how you said, it helps you focus on your own pace, because you're putting yourself in that specific pace group. So you're not even worried about, oh my gosh, someone just passed me, because no, everyone in your group is going the same pace. So you're just worried about that. And I think that's
stay in
super
your own
helpful
lane.
too. Yeah.
That's it. You can run your own race, stay in your own lane, but there's also other people who are doing that too.
And sometimes it should be about enjoying the activity.
Of course.
And sometimes you do go to some run clubs and it feels a little bit stressful, because you have to keep up with the pace. Instead of motivating you, it kind of like, I'm not that fast, I can keep up, right? Or maybe your easy pace is maybe you're already doing your race pace, like in that moment. So it's struggles. Sometimes it's great to have like that push, but not to the point where sometimes it's like always gonna bring some stress in you.
Yeah, of course.
Once you have a bad experience, it stays in your head. It doesn't get out.
Did you have any experiences with running?
Honestly, no. My first
Okay.
half marathon, I loved the experience. It was amazing. I think we did the Juarez. That was
The
my
Juarez
first
one?
half
Okay.
marathon, and it was beautiful. And I feel like I kept running because of that experience, because it was so great. It was enjoyable. I had so much fun. So I was like, next one.
Let's go.
Let's
Bring
go.
it up.
That's an awesome first race. I'm so glad you did
I
it. I'm trying to
know.
convince more and more girls to do it this next one. I
Juarez
know
one?
you did it, right, last
Yes.
year? Oh, it's just such an awesome race. Yeah, for anyone listening. If you live in
It
this
is
region.
fun. Like the people, the
Yeah.
cheer, everything. It's a great
And
energy.
there's nothing like that Mexican energy.
Of course.
Everyone's just so cheerful. The people around you, like, it just doesn't feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've been in other races where you're like, oh my gosh, everyone's silent. Everyone seems so tense right now,
I know.
like trying to break PRs. And in Juarez, it just felt like everyone was like,
Having
yes, we
fun.
love running.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
2
Course
miles
was
of
very
fun.
beautiful. I really
Running by the
loved
X and everything.
Just going through Juarez, the whole thing was just like, whoa, like, I didn't know I was running this much.
And I know we didn't have this year the international 10K. Did you guys do that one?
I didn't do it last year because it sold out so quick.
I did.
Yeah.
I volunteered at it,
It was
though.
a
and
fun one.
It's gorgeous. It looks very well organized.
Yeah, it was a fun one. We didn't have it like this year, but it's a good race.
I think I heard they're moving it to in the fall.
Okay.
Oh, so hopefully it still happens because it's such a neat race. Have you?
No, I haven't,
it?
but I've
No.
done one into Canada, an international race from the
okay.
U.S. into Canada.
Is it the Detroit press?
There was one in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a Michigan,
Yeah.
Canada, right? The
Yep.
Detroit press
Yep,
marathon as
yep.
well.
But I did one like near Buffalo area.
Okay.
So, Yeah, but
Pretty
I haven't
cool.
done that
Well,
one.
you
the
need
one
to
that
do
you
one
guys
in the
are-
border, girl.
I know. I know.
But yeah, but no, we have amazing races. El Paso was really good as well. We had a great course. Did you guys do the half as well?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Well, she did the full.
I did the
You
full.
did the full? How
Yeah.
was it? How did you do on that one?
I had a bunch of clients that were doing it, so I party paced the whole thing.
Okay.
Started off with a couple in the beginning, moved on to the middle, and finished with a really good friend of mine. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. I ran right past my apartment, so got to see my husband and my dog, and that was awesome too. But the atmosphere was really great.
Okay.
And especially at the end, we took a while to do it just because we were cruising the whole time, and the energy was still amazing at the end. So I did the half last year, and the half was also amazing too.
Well, I feel like this year I could really tell the difference from last year and this year, and how much of an impact all these little running communities have
Yes.
had. Like the energy
It has grown
was
so much.
awesome
besides.
this race. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for sure. So I hope like next year we have like even like a bigger race. Yes.
Well, it just
Fun.
keeps growing. So.
They did a good job with the course this time. I
Mhm.
think.
Do you like it?
Yeah, starting downtown was really nice, and then just going through Central was also really nice compared to last year. I know last year the course was a little bit.
Yeah, through Ascarate, right? You like the Coliseum, going through Ascarate Park and then coming back. But yeah, I enjoyed the change in the course this year. It was pretty cool.
The full marathon was cool because we started all the way on the far east side and got to run through almost all of El Paso minus the west side. And then we got to finish downtown. I don't like doing marathons where you have to do loops because then you just feel
Yes,
like you're going crazy doing things in circles for 26.2 miles. But being able to start from the far east and finishing downtown was awesome because you got to see so much.
And it's crazy to say that. Like, I ran
Yes.
from the far east side to Central. Like,
So
to downtown.
yeah.
my apartment was at the 13-mile mark, so exactly halfway. And it took us 30 minutes to drive from my apartment to the starting point. And my friend and I looked at my husband, and he was like, "You guys know you have to run that, right?"
Like, why
And
did
I
you
was
tell
like,
me that?
"Don't tell me that."
What I don't know is better for
Yeah.
me.
I was like, "It just took us 30 minutes to drive this, and now I have to run the
it.
same thing." Yeah.
But you did it. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And
And you can look back on it.
exactly.
Worry about it again next year.
Yep.
And how did you guys meet?
Well, Jazz, I think you went to the first run, right? Or I don't know if you want to.
Maybe like the third, fourth run, which is weird because my two best friends now are how I met them through the run club.
Okay.
Now we're like super best friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Lisa, that's how I met them through the run club.
That's
Well, Lisa had known
awesome.
her, but Alyssa, that's how I met her through the run club. And we started getting together, and then eventually we were like, okay, like let's meet up and everything. And we ended up loving the community. It's very special to see all these girls. I felt like at first I struggled with running. I couldn't even run a mile when I first started. So it's very hard for me. So I was like, what the heck? But I really wanted to start running. I was like, I really want to get into this. And Alyssa one of my best friends had just finished doing the half. And she started explaining a little bit like how it was and everything. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And I think going more into the run clubs, it helped a lot because you don't think about the run. You just think about enjoying it with your friends. You're really like not thinking like, oh my goodness, we have to run this. We have to run 3 miles. No, you're just strolling through wherever course you're at and you're just enjoying chit-chatting, gossiping throughout the whole route. So it's nice. But that's how I started. And then we started going more. And then finally, Daniela needed a pacer. And Alyssa texted me. She's like, hey, dude, like, Daniela needs a pacer. Will you be down? And I was like, oh, my God. I got nervous. I was like, no, like, everybody's going to be watching me. Like, I'm going to have to keep up. Like, and I was barely starting. And I was like, okay, we'll just do it. And then after that, it's all history. And I started with them ever since.
So you have your pacers, and like when people come to the club, they know who to follow, or is that how it works?
Yeah, we'll split them into groups. So we'll be like, okay, everyone in the 8-minute mile, come on up. This is
Okay.
Pay attention to Jazz. She'll be
Okay.
leading you. And then we'll go down the group.
But you don't have to stay in that group, which is really nice too. You start with them, and I think you pointing it out in the beginning, like these are going to be your pacers. People can then tell, like, once they get to, let's say I'm in the 12, if they want to go faster, they know where the 11-minute pacer is because they know who it is. So then they know, okay, now I'm going to be there, and then they can have a goal of going with the 10. And so it's just one big gaggle of people at the end of it, but they all know who is going to be at that pacing group and how fast they're going to be going.
Do you ever pace, Daniela?
Used to. At the beginning, I used to. I think I was doing the 10. But honestly, we've grown so much. And usually we have a lot going on at the business where we're starting. So it's gotten harder for me to be like at all places at once. And sometimes, we're such a large group, like a girl tripped or a girl lost this, or those little things worry me like, oh my gosh, if I'm on the run and something happens. Yeah.
You have to be the admin.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be admin here.
Just keep eyes on everything. But yeah, so now what I'll do is we usually have a photographer, and as soon as all the groups take off, I'll go drive to a middle point, and that's where we'll be like cheering them on or taking pics of them and all that.
But it also looks like every event, well, every run looks like an event because you have coffee, you have yoga, you have like smoothies, and you have like all these fun stuff at the end.
Well, I think that was another thing that we really wanted to focus on when we started creating also like a social aspect to it.
Okay.
Because I remember before I started the run club, a lot of like wellness events were starting to pop up. Like I know Pure Barre does a bunch of free pop-ups, and I would go with my friends all the time, and I would treat it as like my little outing of the weekend. And I thought that was super cool to be able to be like, hey guys, like let's hang out, our friends, we pick a cute outfit, we're gonna take cute pics, we're gonna get our coffee and get a little workout in. And so I knew I wanted to do something similar for the run club, where we created an outing for the girls, like something fun to do in El Paso with their friends. And that's why we try to make every run a little special.
I think it's a really good way to meet new people too. It's not just a show up, run, and then you're done. You get to hang out, you get to socialize, you get to be with other, like you said in the beginning, like-minded people who have similar interests to you. So myself, I move all over all the time. So having something like this, I can come into a brand new city where I know nobody and come to this event, and you're going to find people who are just like you, and you can meet your new best friends there too. And it all started because of a run club. You can just run and yap and get brunch after. What's better?
Combining fitness and that social aspect, that's a beautiful thing.
And what's cool about it is that cute outfits start coming out after that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So like a competition. I have to get a new outfit every weekend now at this point. This is an expensive hobby.
Yeah, who said running was cheap? That's not true.
It's the
not.
biggest lie ever, right? Like running, you just need a pair of shoes. No, please. All right. So, I noticed you mentioned something about Goodbye Pink on a post. Is pink living like because you feel like the pink is kind of like a representation of
That
girls
better
from
be
the...
April Fool's.
That was totally
really?
April Fool's.
Okay.
I was gonna
Did
say.
the pinkest thing
Okay.
forever.
I fell for it. I was like, what?
You made me nervous over here. I was like, I just got a new pink outfit
Okay.
for next weekend.
No, yeah. Honestly, I run out of pink clothes all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, who chose pink? Who was it?
And then you need another color for something. You're like, I can't afford to go buy yellow at this point. I just have to keep wearing pink.
The weird thing is that I was looking for something pink to wear today, and I didn't have anything pink. Like I had like one shirt, but like it was dirty, and I'm like, I don't have anything pink. That is so embarrassing. So I'm always like a yellow person when it comes to running. Everything's always like yellow or blue. That's usually those are my two colors. But I was trying to look like for something pink for today. I'm like, I don't have anything pink. And I had like this very kind of like formal shirt. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing that, like I don't think so. But yes, I'm missing.
It's funny, a lot of people actually ask us, oh, do you guys have a dress code? Like, is the dress code pink? And we're like, no, we never really said it, but it just happens.
And it's funny because a lot of people go in pink, which I love. Like, it's so nice to see, but everybody goes in
It's
pink.
in pink?
Yeah. Everybody, and it's nice. It's really cute. I think it's always nice.
It's cool because you can combine that love of sport, and I'm still like bringing that girly side of it. I'm still a girl, and I can just be pink.
We're doing the same thing, but in pink.
Of course, like exactly. I love it, and I know how we're changing also like that definition of girls, because girls is now, I think, we're strong. We have the courage. We have the guts to do things. I think these type of activities help us redefine what a girl in pink means, like in society. So I love it. It's very legal and blunt.
Ariane would love that.
Like, in the last, in one of the episodes where I had you two, I don't know, have you seen the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
Yes.
Of course, of course, right? So I said something when I was introducing Jazmine that she was introducing into the group, like the guys got frosted. Because in my mind, I was thinking frosted, they got diamonds, like in the movie. When he says, ladies, get yourself frosted with diamonds, I was thinking, oh, these guys got frosted, but everybody just stood quiet. So I'm like, okay.
No one got the reference.
I used the wrong movie reference in the wrong podcast.
I think in the same token, we're redefining what it means to be a girl, what it means to be a woman. But for me, I love the run club because I'm surrounded by masculine energy all the time. I had prior jobs and now my job now even too. I get to still be like a girly pop, so to say, and I get to hang out with other girls in pink and stuff, and that makes me feel more feminine. So I've also talked to a lot of other people, especially people in the military and the army community. They love events like this because, again, they're surrounded by masculine energy all the time. So then being able to come to a girls' run club on the weekends, they get to wear pink, they get to do their makeup, they get to have all of those experiences and get in touch with their feminine side and their feminine energy too. So.
And girls wearing pink doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you cannot accomplish anything.
No.
It doesn't mean that you cannot win races. No, it just means that, like you're saying, we love that feminine side of it. And hey, I'm still a girl and I can still do things in pink, by the way. So I love that redefinition and the aspect of what is being a girl in pink.
Yeah.
And I think we also get to do it very judgment free. Because I was thinking, like, when you go to any other run club, if you're wearing makeup, like a guy might come up to you and be like, why are you wearing makeup to run? Or why are you running in a skirt? It's like, who cares? If I want to wear a bow in my hair and run, let me. And I think that's the cool thing about our run club. Like, you can do and wear and look however you want because no one's going to judge you here.
You can roll up in, clothes that you wore last time. You could be hungover, you could not do your hair, and you could be like, you know what, I'm here and I'm gonna run. Or you could show up in makeup and a skirt and a bow in your hair and be like, this is my outing for the weekend. I'm gonna have a good time. And there's no judgment. No one is gonna judge you either way.
Awesome. That's beautiful. So yeah, it's like creating like the safe space in the community, and that's where you guys are also like trailblazers, I think, for girls in our El Paso community. So it's pretty cool. So what inspires you girls for running, to keep up with the running, to continue doing this? I know you have your club. I know you have your heart put into this, but you as a runner, what inspires you? Why did you start running?
Well, I started running in, I think it was my last year of middle school. I was a swimmer before. I know we've talked about this, but I feel like swimming and running goes so hand in hand. And like I had the lung capacity from swimming, so I was like, oh, running is kind of easy. That was back in middle school. And then high school, like I did track, cross country, the usual things. I feel like a lot of runners do sports in high school, and they're like, okay, this is a good transition sport. And then I stopped working out completely after high school because I didn't have a coach anymore. I didn't know how to work out without someone telling me what to do. And then I came across a program through a club that I was part of at UTEP that was helping you do your first half marathon. And I was like, oh, I used to run. Maybe this would be a cool time for me to get back into running through this. And I jumped from a 5K to a half marathon. Luckily, I completed it, did it, loved it. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. And honestly, now I always tell people, because a lot of people ask me this, like, how do you still like running and everything? And we all hit the funks. Like I'm sure we all wake up sometimes and we're like, the last thing I want to do right now is go for a run. But something that really helps me is honestly going through our stories. When a girl tags our stories, I'm like, oh my gosh, that girl, she's working a 9 to 5, she's a mom, and she got out for her run, so I can go out and do my run too. And just seeing our girls, like I remember when I saw Kat, she's really good friends with Jazz over here, she's part of G2, she was breaking PRs, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so inspiring. I need to work harder. Let's go run and put in the work. And yeah, just I feel like supporting yourself with other people like that is super helpful.
And important for being like to have that type of people, be surrounded by the correct type of people, right, in the community. So that's pretty important. How about you, Jazmine?
Oh
Oh my goodness, what inspires me? You know what? I feel like Daniela's right. Some days there's some days that I just don't want to run. Even like if it's just 3 miles, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm tired and everything. But then I remember, I'm like, oh my God, my body was able to do this. Like I need to be grateful for my body, the way it's able to push on like nobody. It's hard to start to learn how to run. So it's special to know how special my body could be, and it could push for that limit. So I think I always remind myself, well, this is what my body could do. Let's keep doing it. And I think also, like I mentioned, like running was very hard for me. It was a challenge. So it's something that I don't want to give up, because it was just such a challenge that why would I want to give up so easy? Like just let it go like that, because it was very hard. I would sometimes cry because I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even finish a mile. Like how embarrassing. But now I'm like, I'm able to. So it's nice to be grateful for my body and able to push it. I think it also helped a little bit with like an eating disorder. Like I would be so concerned, like, well, this is gonna make, every girl goes through it, that if you eat this, it's gonna make you fat, and you're always worried about your weight and everything. And when it came to running, like those thoughts, they just went away too. Like I could eat a bagel. I burn like 1,000 calories right now. Let me eat a bagel, So it helped a lot with that too. So it's a lot of, I think, mental, emotional, and everything. It was very inspiring, and that's why I want to keep doing it.
And I know running, there comes a point, I think, when you feel like you became a runner, when you start changing, when you were talking about nutrition, you start focusing, oh no, I want to eat because I want to feel strong, right?
Yes.
And you start kind of like reconnecting again with food. Because first in the beginning, most of us begin to run, to lose a couple of pounds, to get fit. But then you cross the line, and I'm like, okay, I love running, but I don't like feeling weak or tired or fatigued like all the time. I want to feel strong and have the energy. And that's when you kind of like flip the script and kind of like, okay, so for that means I need to change my mentality for food, right? And find again that connection with food. So I know you, Nicole, this is where we come to you. I know
I'm sitting here and I'm like,
yeah, no, this is, I was just doing the transition to pass the baton to you, Nicole. So I know this is where you had also like an eating disorder, and you are now like a sports dietitian, and now help girls to find that connection and that good relationship with food to improve the performance. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah. So I won't go into my whole running story, but one of my favorite sayings is a lot of people start running to eat, and then they make the transition to eat to run. Meaning there are a lot of people who will say, I just ran, a half marathon, I get to eat a bagel. Whereas then the transition is, I need to run 13 miles, so I'm going to eat this bagel to be able to feel that run. Instead of punishing or earning it in some sort of way, using, my past that I've had. When I was in treatment in the hospital, I met so many people who had been there 4, 5, 6 times. It was a revolving door for so many people. I saw kids there that were under 18, was 2. Not at the time, but I started under 18 with those thoughts and those habits. And then I also met women who were 70 plus years old who had been in and out of eating disorder treatments. And I told myself I would never allow myself to go back to that. And I met so many people who still had such a poor relationship with exercise. When I got out, I vowed to make sure that if I could do anything in the community, it would be so that no one felt that way anymore, and so that they could have the education. Because for me, once I learned the science behind the food, the science behind calories in, calories out, macronutrients, and what can help you fuel for performance, all of that noise went away, because I was able to just look at it like an equation. It's, okay, so I need to eat this amount to be able to run this and feel my best, instead of, I just ate 3,000 calories in the day, I need to burn off 3,000 calories, because scientifically it doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
And once that clicked in my brain, I was able to then use all of that math, use all those equations to then be an even better runner than I was before. Because like when we were talking about the history, those females were probably in pain after running 800 meters because they didn't have the nutrition to pack it up. Whereas if you are fueling yourself for performance, you're going to be able to run a marathon, wake up the next day and go for a walk and feel fine, all because of the nutrition that you've put in and the training, of course, that you've put into that work. So that's how I got into it.
And that's interesting what you're saying. I love science. For me, like I need to understand everything on a molecular level in order to understand. If we're talking about easy zone, why the easy zone? What is happening in your cells, so we can really appreciate and understand and how, like, what impact it has on you, right? But yeah, understanding. I believe that's why education is so important, and explain like the science of everything, so that way we can flip that script and also like change that mentality and understand why eating for performance it's so important. There's an article by the Sports Medicine, and they're clear. If your goal is performance, like then you have to consume and eat this amount of carbs, this amount per hour, this amount for that. But you have to, it's really clear if it's performance. So that's why sometimes, like, I'm with some athletes, I'm like, what's your goal? Because
I don't think that these two specific goals can coexist, wanting to lose weight and wanting to perform. I think if you are going to run a marathon, if you're going to run a half marathon, your goal needs to be to finish and to perform. The weight loss should come after. Running to lose weight is such a slippery slope. And, there's science behind that too. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat less than what you're burning. That's, simple science. But if you want to perform and be your best in a marathon, a half marathon, a 5K, you have to eat to perform to do that. And you're going to have to eat more than what you're burning to be able to do that. And that and weight loss don't exist together. So,
and I'm sure that you're finding like that, like a difficult conversation sometimes with the athletes, right? Because it's really hard to break that stigma of the calories that your body actually needs and focus on the amount of carbs or so on, and help them get, I think it's kind of like a fear that they have, but you got to be able to break that fear with the food.
Every person is different too. So what you see on social media that works for one person is not going to work for you. The training plan, the clothes that you're wearing, what you're consuming, the electrolytes that you're consuming, what works for one professional athlete or even just another person in a run club is not going to work for you, because biologically you are different.
Exactly. And that's why everything needs to be completely individualized. Like your training, from your training plan, you cannot expect to, like us having the training plan, expect to have like the same outcome.
No.
It's just not going to happen. So definitely when it comes to nutrition, training plans, strength training, everything should be completely individualized. So I love this conversation. I love this topic. I could do it forever. Okay. All right, Nicole. So how do you get into that conversation? How do you talk to your clients like about the importance what they need to eat?
I'm a very blunt person.
Okay.
I'm a very straight to the fact, very blunt person. And a lot of my clients, I'm not a registered dietitian, so I can't work with people who are actively having thoughts of that would concur with an eating disorder.
Okay.
So that is very helpful, because I have people who they already know a little bit of the science behind it and they're not having that food noise anymore. I have had clients who we've identified that they are actively struggling with an eating disorder, and I have recommended them to a sports dietitian, and some have even gone to treatment. That is not an easy conversation, and that makes me very emotional. So we're not going to talk about that side.
Okay.
But when clients come in, say they have a goal of a 70.3, I sit down with them for, an hour, and I go through all of the science with them. I tell them, this is what your baseline is. This is what you need to eat for performance. I give them the good, the bad, the ugly. This could happen if you don't follow it. This could happen if you do follow it. And, we don't know what could happen. Like you said, it's very individualized. But usually when they come in, I look at what they're eating on a regular basis for about 2 weeks, because it does take time to be able to assess, yourself on a regular basis, figure out where their baseline is, and then figure out what their goal is for their running, whether it's a 70.3, a half marathon, a marathon, a 50K, a 100K, whatever it is. And then we just do the science together. We do the math together, because I look at personal training as visiting Home Depot, right? I'm Home Depot. you're trying to build your toolbox. I want you to come to me to be able to build your toolbox. But at the end of the day, I want you to have a toolbox and never have to come back to Home Depot. You should be able to pick a race and be like, all right, I know what to do because I've already worked with a coach, have all the equations that I need, and I know how to approach it. Then if you want the accountability for me to like hold your hand, talk to you and walk you through everything, sure, but you should be able to do this by yourself at the end of it. So I'm very in depth with them, and I am willing to go 1,000 miles an hour, but if they only want to give 25%, then that's what we'll do together. Because some people, they want to PR, and other people, they just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's a very different goal.
Exactly.
And that can change.
Changes completely the plan again.
Yeah.
You know, for my clients, I want me to give them like a training plan. I do send them like this survey. It looks like a medical history thing. And I'm asking them like nutritional deficiencies. Have you had this? Have you had any type of like anemias? Have you had?
What was the last blood work you did?
I sometimes I do send them to get like a blood work. I want like an iron panel. I want this. I want that. You know, like.
Can I see your estrogen levels, please?
It's funny, but yeah, to some I do send them like to get some blood work. It's just like I need to understand where you are.
Yeah,
a little bit. You have like a history of running injuries. You have this because I need to understand type of workout that I can give you. If you have a history of injuries as well, I'm gonna be putting like track workout every like 2 to 3 times a week, right? So I'm gonna have to be careful. So yeah, and I think it's a good conversation to have because many runners out there, you know, we start running. We love running. We just go out there. We think more and more and more and more is the way to go. And sometimes it's not like that. Each one of is completely different. And the plan is not going to be this. It cannot be the same for everyone. We can kind of like work together with the same goal and help each other. But I think if you're listening to this, there's amazing coaches out there. It's completely worth it to help you, just even to try it a couple of months to learn how to eat properly, to learn how to train. It's an investment and it's gonna stay with you and it's gonna help you become like a better runner, a smart runner for the long run.
And it doesn't have to be like that forever.
Exactly.
I always tell clients, I don't want to see you for more than 18 months. And if I do, it's bad on me. So I'm doing something wrong. But I do have some people who, they just want a buddy. They just want someone to talk to about running because no one else is talking to them about running. But going back to what you were saying about the blood panel, I have men and I have women. Men are so much easier to work with and plan for. You can give them one thing and it's going to work for them for the most part. Females, we're a nightmare.
Yes.
We are honestly a nightmare, especially when it comes to our cycles too.
Exactly. Yes.
It changes so much. I can look at a client, they'll send me a message, they'll send me a text or whatever. And just based off of how they word a message, she's in her luteal phase right now.
But you know what?
Come back to me in a week.
And we were having this conversation on the last podcast about hormone, like the changes, how hormones affects our performance on race day or even during training, but also how metabolism, do we use more fat oxidation or do you use more glucose during the different phases?
Exactly. Are you perimenopausal? Are you going through HA? All of that.
All of that has like such an impact for us. So
we have a lot more factors that go into it.
Exactly. It's so complex and it's so beautiful, the complexity of it. It's fascinating to talk about it. So runners, go ahead and invest to learn about you. How can you become a better runner, to eat better, to performance? If performance is your goal, I mean, who doesn't want to finish a marathon, finish strong or feeling strong? Like having that sense where your switch turns off, all of a sudden, that's the worst feeling. Like, I mean, hitting the wall. I don't know if that has happened to you.
It has.
Yes.
But it's a horrible feeling, right? Because everything, all of that has like such an impact on our performance.
And even if you eat the best, I'm saying this in quotes, that you eat the best, you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your hormones are in check. You could go out and you could try to run a marathon and you could still hit that block, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Everything can line up and that can still happen. So maybe your electrolytes were slightly off. Maybe the weather was a little worse, or maybe it was different than what you were training in. Maybe you wore the wrong socks and you're getting blisters somewhere. So no matter what you do, there's always so many variables that can influence it and affect it. And I think you and I have talked about it, Daniela, that the race is really the training that you're doing. and then you show up to the actual race day, and that's just a celebration.
Exactly. Yes.
Because all of the training that you've put into it, that is, and I mean, for me, I look at it like Ironmans. The Ironman is the training. You just show up and you get your medal that day. That's it. Doesn't matter what happens. You're just showing up and you're getting the medal. That's it. So you're just celebrating everything that you've done. It doesn't matter what happens on race day.
And I feel like it's important to keep that in mind when you're training for a race, because once you make that realization when you're training, you're like, okay, I'm not going to show up to race day and magically run these miles if I don't put them in right now. So it's always good to keep that in mind when you're like, oh, I hate this workout that I have to do right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I love this conversation because these are the topics that we need to learn, I think, as runners, and to have these conversations to become better runners, right? Sometimes running is not only running, it's everything that involves around running to help you become like a better performer, right? So that's pretty good. Okay, so you have a dream race, guys, that you would like to run someday?
A race?
A race that you're like, I would love, that would be my dream race.
Probably like in Hawaii.
How the Honolulu Marathon?
Yeah,
That one seems
really
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun.
I would be worried about the weather compared to here in El Paso.
I think they do it in December, no? The Honolulu.
Yes.
But it's pretty humid, right?
yeah, it's really humid.
I was
So I wonder.
I was there in January and it wasn't bad.
No?
Beautiful weather.
Yeah. I've never been to Hawaii, but
It's
Or even New
beautiful.
York or Boston, probably those as well.
yeah.
I would want a really pretty view, just as long as it's
I feel like this year I'm actually doing a couple of bucket list races.
Go you.
Okay.
I'm doing the New York City
Oh
Marathon.
my God.
And that's gonna be my first
Oh
marathon.
my God.
Um,
That was my first one, so.
oh, you'll have to give me all your tips and tricks.
Oh, yeah,
for
of
it.
course.
And then I'm actually doing something crazy. That same month, I'm doing my second marathon as well.
Okay.
I'm doing the Every Women's Marathon.
Oh, okay, that's cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that
actually-
in October?
That's in November,
November.
and it's in
Okay.
Scottsdale,
Ge-
so pretty
is-
close.
Is it Georgia? Is it, where is it?
It's in Scottsdale, in Arizona. Yeah,
They move in it?
yeah. So I think they're trying to do a different city every year.
Oh,
getting.
okay.
And yeah, it seemed awesome last year. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it started last year. Maybe?
Yes, it started because one of the founders is Des Linden, which is my favorite runner, of course. But she was the first one promoting the first race.
Well, if you want to come.
I kind of want
When
to
is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get. It's November 16th, I think.
Well, on Monday, I need to see, because they opened the registrations for the Marine Corps Marathon. So I want to do that one.
Don't-
So I'm waiting to see if I get in. If I don't get in, I go to run with you that one.
So you
because-
said you want to do it too.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh, this is
any little sliver of opportunity. I'm like, okay, you said you kind of wanted to.
kind of wanted to.
kind
You're
of
doing it now.
It's like yes or
Kind
no.
of. We already
We
said
don't
no.
like grace here.
Yeah, well, a lot of girls from the run club have actually been like, oh, that sounds like such a fun race.
Yeah.
And I have so many girls at Girls Run on 915 who haven't done their first full marathon. So I feel like this is an awesome race.
Well,
to
this
do
is
it at.
so Girls Run the Marathon coded,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, right?
This
Yeah.
was made for Girls Run the 915.
So that sounds fun.
You need to do
Does
your
sound
first
really
full
to do
too.
it. I need
No maybes, girl. Yes or no? You say
I
here live
actually
on the
have-
podcast.
Danielle's going to say, I have receipts. Let's
yeah,
go.
I'm like, play it back.
I have in 2 weeks. I'll be going to Phoenix for another half.
Oh my
For another
gosh.
half. And I was gonna wait until October for Juarez, but November. I mean, that's what I did. So might as well just do it again.
You can use that, and it's perfect timing because if you're doing October Juarez, you can do it as a half prep race.
Yeah, that'll be
As a-
perfect.
yeah, it matches like the time frame, like a half prep race for the marathon. So that's good.
That's what I'm doing.
And it's Scottsdale. It's not that far neither.
Yeah, we can drive down.
Down.
Airbnb girls trip.
The weather's still
That sounds
really
fun.
nice.
Yeah, the weather will be nice by then.
I'll fly out.
Nicole's leaving us here soon.
you-
She's moving.
Where are you moving?
Wow, I'm really making this public now. I haven't told anybody.
I told you we broadcast everything here.
I honestly, I've actually this past week, I'm like, I really need to tell everybody. And I've gone on my stories to try to say it, and I can't.
Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah, we're moving back to Georgia
okay.
in May. We have 5 weeks left.
Oh.
Nicole.
Girl, you need to start telling people.
I know. Yeah, it really is. But that's the Army life. It
Yeah.
takes you places. I really want to take what I've learned from Girls Run the 915 and apply it because like I said earlier in the podcast, for me, this was awesome. And this was a way for me to meet new friends and meet up with old friends and just build a community of people here. It's very isolating moving all the time and being in a different city and not having that community of people. So something like the run clubs gives you that community of people and gives you automatic friends. So
Yeah, of course.
Have a running party, going away party, running.
Well, I feel like anytime one of our pacers leaves, we run, we get together, we run, and then we go eat somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not
Throw you a goodbye
leaving.
party.
I'm just,
You better visit again.
yeah, I have to. Yeah.
All right. So going back to the dream race, do you, Nicole, have a dream race?
I would love to do a full Ironman one day.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's a big financial investment, which I just don't have right now. And it's a big time investment. I also don't have time right now. And you need to basically train for a full marathon, a century, and the swim will be fine. But where the heck am I supposed to bike for 100 miles? The logistics
Come
sounds like,
visit us, and then you go back.
yeah, it sounds like a logistic nightmare. But yeah, that would be my dream. And I would love to do it in a different country. I like to do races in places that I've never been before.
Yeah, of course.
Just to get the travel out of it. So I would love to be able to pick one maybe in Spain or somewhere in Europe and yeah, make a trip out of it and also do a full Ironman on top of it. But I'm hoping to be able to do that in like my late 30s. That's my goal.
You guys are so young. I'm feeling like a mother here.
Age is a mindset.
Mindset.
All right. Okay. So, but New York, Daniela, that is so cool. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be the race of your life. You know, for me, New York was my first one. It has to be New York. And I remember when I was training for New York, my husband would drive me and would drop me over there in Vinton or Anthony, and I would just come back, you know, like running home or thing like that, right? So, but when they're taking you in New York, like to the start line in Staten Island, it was so funny because over there, like I had to take the subway, and then you have to take the ferry, right? So the ferry takes you to Staten Island. You go to Staten Island, then you take the bus. The bus is like forever to take you to the finish line. And I got so scared. I panicked. I was like, this is farther than Pinto.
Yeah. Well, anytime I see like the little, like how they post the little virtual route, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a lot of distance.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Northeast before?
Yeah.
So everything is just condensed.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
El Paso is very spread out.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, it takes you 10 hours to get to the other side of the state, whereas you can cross New York in
That's true.
Yeah.
less than 2 hours.
It just seems like a lot.
I just remember that it panicked. Like when I was in the bus, I was like, this is really far away.
Oh
I
man.
was so scared. But you know, like the energy is just like, it's just like, no, like you just have to live it. I like my favorite part, and please remember this. I get emotional and goosebumps just thinking about it. You're crossing, you know, like Queensboro Bridge from Brooklyn, from Queens to Manhattan, and it's all quiet. It's like 1 mile, I think, that bridge long. It's like all quiet and silent, and people are just hear them breathing, and kind of like everybody's focused. But once you get out, it's like a soaring round of just a crowd yelling your name because you have to put Daniela, you know, like Maria or whatever. So people just cheering for you like you're a rock star.
I'm so excited.
But it's just the amount of energy is just nonstop. It just keeps you going.
That's how
Like,
Ironmans
yeah.
are. They're addicting
Yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like sports in your adult stage of life are so addicting because it's like a new set of goals that you're being introduced to. And that's why I think I like running so much, because there are these goals like races that keep you going, and I just love running.
Yeah, of course. And every time you want more and more and more. No, but I think instead of more, I think you become more experienced, and now you want to become a smarter runner. You learn when to build up. You learn when to rest off season. You learn when it's time to eat better. You learn when it's, I need to focus on my strength and my cross training, you know, to prevent injuries. I think you become like more an experienced runner that starts like, okay, I need to prepare and be a better runner for the next one. So, but you guys are so young, so you have like such, it's so cool that you guys are starting so early. You know, I think I barely started to run like in my 40s. But I'm like, oh, why did I didn't start running like early in my life? You know, it's like I regret it so much. So just the fact that you guys are doing it, you're already like way, way, way much ahead, and you have like a full life of cool things happening
And
to
I
you.
think it's great because you create these stories for like
Yeah.
your kids later on, if you have any kids. You create these stories and you're able to tell them, instead of telling them, oh yeah, I went out and I got drunk, and that was my story, you know. No, you tell them like, you know
Yeah.
what, I went out to New York and I ran a full marathon, you know, and then you have pictures and they get to see, and you know, it's nice for later on to have those memories as well.
That's pretty cool.
I always think that actually when we get a lot of moms that come with their strollers to run club, and I always tell them like, oh my gosh, take all the pics please, because you're gonna be able to show your kid later on like, look, I used to take you to run club in our little stroller.
I love it,
Oh,
Katie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Gosh, I want to be here when I grow up.
Katie's a runner that goes to our run club a lot. She did the Chicago Marathon recently, and I think
Fast too.
Yeah,
she's speedy.
and she always goes for her
Stroller moms
stroller.
I don't know if they're like a trick on it.
I don't know. I don't know.
You see, like, oh, a stroller mom is already catching up in the race, right?
Does anyone have a kid to lend me so I can push a stroller? Because apparently you get faster.
Yeah, I already told my daughter I'm gonna be a grandma and I'm gonna carry your your kids like in the 5K. So I'm gonna be a stroller grandma. So
I love that.
for sure. All right. So okay, fun questions, guys. Speed workout day or long run day?
Depends where I am on my cycle.
Follicular face.
Yeah,
Speed.
speed.
Okay.
I mean, I think long run
Run
for
like that?
sure. I'm not a very speedy person. Honestly, speed takes a lot out of me. Like, I think those are the
As it
workouts
should.
that well, more so like mentally, like those are the workouts that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that one. But long run, I wake up and I'm like, ooh, how fun. I'm going to go and just enjoy my time for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Also, if you can bring a buddy. If I have a friend, I could go for 20 miles and easy peasy, just a little yap sesh. But if it's a speed work, I need
Can't
to do
really do that.
I
Yeah.
need to do it by
Do
myself.
it alone. Okay.
Yeah.
You like doing like track workouts when it comes to speed, or like speed workout on the road?
Treadmill, actually.
I love a treadmill until I
treadmill.
find somebody that likes treadmill. I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like a crazy person. I
I
love
think-
treadmill runs.
Because if I do it on the road, I'm very hesitant to really try to go fast. But if I'm on the treadmill,
It makes me
it makes you go faster because
Like-
you would just have to jump off. Like you're either going to go that pace or you have to jump
And
off the
I
treadmill.
feel like you're teaching your legs
that you can do that.
how it feels and what it should look like when
Yeah.
you're like trying it outside. So when you try it outside, I think it's easier for your body to remember, like muscle
Yeah.
memory, to get that feeling of how it's supposed to be at that pace.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you can't pay me enough money to do a long run on a treadmill.
No?
I'm not doing it. It's just not
Okay,
going to happen.
okay.
Actually.
Okay, I love. I'm a
I think
treadmill
the
person.
most I've done on a treadmill is probably like 6 miles, and after
Yeah?
that, I'm like, I get bored. There's nothing to watch. You know, the TVs at my gym, they're just they're just putting power lifters or anything like that. I'm like, okay, no, it's next, you know. And some people say that they watch like movies or something, but
I am that person. Yeah.
Are you a movie person on the tread? Yeah. Okay.
I can't.
I usually put like a concert, and I just like.
Well, that's a good
go
idea.
And go for it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I always watch the same concert every single time. Like where I cannot get tired of it. It's like crazy. So it's funny. But no, I think that the most I've been like 14 miles on the tread.
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I think mine's over
14
10.
minutes, yeah.
But I think I had to take a lot of breaks.
Oh, yeah. I love it because I feel like 2 or 3 hours I'm gonna be on the trail. It teaches me like mentally, like to focus and to stay at that pace, like
Yeah.
for 3 hours, like there, like have to be able to sustain.
I just don't like
It's
the
rhythm.
option that I'm looking at my car. I can see it and I'm standing in the same spot for 2 or 3 hours. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive away. But if you're out on the road during a long run, like you're 6 miles out, you have to return
Yeah.
6 miles or whatever it is. So
Yeah,
you're
that's
stuck
true.
out there.
Yeah.
There's no car. I'm not
No
watching
option,
anything.
yeah.
There's no option. You just got to go.
gotta come back somehow.
Yeah. Your legs are going to take you
Yeah.
there. That's it.
Eventually.
So Jasmine, the speed workout or long run?
Oof, that's hard. It just depends, I guess, what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to chill. When I'm like feeling good, I'm like, okay, let's go for a long run. Sometimes when I feel like overwhelmed with school or anything like that, I'm like, a little speed workout, it's going to help me push, de-stress a little bit. I think I'm going to go with speed because I do like running on the treadmill.
Okay.
It feels nice. Not that for so long, but I think...
For 14 miles.
Not for 14 miles. But yeah, I think the speed.
Speed. All right. So would you prefer to run a hilly 5K or flat marathon?
Flat marathon.
Say flat marathon.
I will go with hilly.
Hilly?
Downhill.
Okay.
That's true. Whatever comes up is going to come down. Yeah, I really like hills too. I don't know. Sometimes I actually struggle more running on a flat route because, well, where I live by, there's so many hills. So sometimes I feel like I'm so used to how my breathing is on downhills and uphills that sometimes flat routes are harder for me, actually.
Definitely can't relate to
flats
that.
are fast. So hills, I feel, is more strength. And like you're saying, every time that you see like an hill, you're gonna, I'm gonna get a break. It's kind of like, like a break is coming up, so I'll recover in that downhill.
Just
So
like long and steady. I could go forever at like a very easy pace, but the minute you told me I got to do a 5K and I got to sprint,
That's the part that got me, the 5K.
yeah, and you're like, this is a really flat route, and then there's like an incline like this. I'm like, she's lying to me. This is not
you have
flat.
to remember where I live, okay? I compare it on levels like that.
And I'd always turn around to the rest, and I'm like, you lied to us.
where I run, I live kind of like on the peak like of the hill, so I always like very cool warm up, go down, like very comfortable, like and at the end I'm like have to go back.
I'm like that with biking. When we go out for long bike rides, we'll go like 30 miles out, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so much fun. We're going so fast. Like this is wonderful. I'm gonna hit a PR today. And then you turn around to the headwind, and then you're going like 10 miles an hour slower, and you're like, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me.
Like,
it's
that's
like
why it was easy.
it's like going uphill for like a whole marathon. That's all it feels like.
Okay, so the question was New York City Marathon or Boston.
Well, have you done?
Not
Never.
Boston.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like one day I would like to do Boston, hopefully, but it's kind of hard.
I just love the city. I love New York.
They say like, well, for Boston, I mean, the crowd is also like pretty amazing because it's like a community event. Like everybody's like so immersed and they're part of it. So the support must be pretty amazing, right? So that's pretty cool as well. All right, so do only like gentle yoga or intense boot camp for your cross training?
I would go with the boot camp.
For the boot camp? She likes intensity,
it.
speed work. She's probably
what
like
I'm getting
hitting
from you,
5K. We're getting like the vibe right here.
I feel like for me, well, right now I've been incorporating a lot of yoga into my cross training. I don't really do a whole lot of HIIT when I'm like running for a race because I feel like I'm getting all my energy out there. So it's nice to balance it with yoga to like bring everything down.
Can I say neither? I'm not a HIIT person.
Okay.
I have 2 CrossFit certifications, and I haven't done it in years. I did like that. I still probably would prefer that. But yoga, I'm just thinking about, I'm thinking about don't fart. Don't look at the person next to me.
Don't laugh.
And how the hell did they get in that position? That's all I'm thinking about. So I can't do yoga.
I like using yoga for de-stressing. Like, let me just take a nap.
I was just going to say that too. I'm like, they're like, get in your zen. There's no zen here.
Yeah.
Nothing
I
about me
haven't done
is
a
zen.
hard yoga. There's some hard yogas where you're like constantly moving, and I break a sweat in yoga sometimes. We'll have to take you there.
I've dipped my toes in Pilates, and I do like that. And I think that helps the very minute muscles around that you don't ordinarily use. But the Pilates instructor always makes fun of me. She's like, you're totally a runner.
What does that mean?
I can't, I'm not.
Not bend?
No, I can't bend. Like, she's like, lift your leg up. And I'm like, this is as far as it's going to lift. Like, you can try to move it and it's not going to move anymore. She's like, you need to do this way more.
Well, I think that's why I like yoga so much too, because I feel like when I stop doing it and I'm running more than doing yoga, I'll go back to yoga and I can't even touch my toes, and I'm like, I need to lather my body again. Like, we need to, because that's so typical, right, of runners to be so stiff all the time.
We stretch like 3 seconds like this, and okay, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good to make sure your muscles are still flexible and and can move the same way.
Take
for
the
sure.
boot camp though.
Yeah, boot camp. Yeah, over yoga.
Over
There's
yoga.
the hot yoga. Have you guys tried that one? It's like a new one. Have you tried it?
I have. I will say I do prefer like regular yoga over hot yoga because I feel like I'm already struggling to focus. So the added sweat is like just
Like
an
the
added
sweat coming out of
distraction.
your
Yeah, I'm like, no,
Trying to
I'm
focus.
falling.
All right. And the last one, run a beer mile or a color run. What is a color run?
Color
Where-
run.
Like, is it where
Yeah.
you go in all white and then they like
Yeah.
spray the? Oh, those are
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, I'm gonna
I've
go
never
with the
done one of
color
those.
run.
Yeah.
I am not a beer person.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I don't know if I could hold down
no.
a beer and run.
Have you heard of the chocolate milk mile? Like did you remember that?
Or is it the hot
challenge?
chocolate? No.
I'm lactose intolerant, so
Yeah,
I don't want to
so-
try that.
No, me too.
Don't.
Speaking of thinking about farting, but they for a while
Cool.
I had to say it. There's a chocolate milk mile where you like run a mile, drink a glass of chocolate milk, run a mile, drink a glass of chocolate milk. And I thought that's what you were going to say.
No, I don't want to do it.
No, I don't want to do that either.
My boyfriend's gonna kill me for this, but this reminds me of like some stuff he's told me from like his frat. Like that does not
Yeah.
sound like something normal.
No. Maybe it's a Northeast thing.
I thought you were gonna say the hot chocolate. I know there's like a hot chocolate race
Yeah.
that I've seen in. It's like a franchise sort of thing. I think they have it in several cities, and that sounds cute, like fun winter run. But a milk mile.
At first, I thought you were saying the
The
Coca-Cola.
color. No, it's a color. Color run.
Just have some sunglasses. But with drinking, no.
No.
You know what? We did the turkey trot for Thanksgiving, and there were some people there. Of course, you know they were giving us shots, and I took one shot, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, I don't drink. Like for me, alcohol is like it's completely zero. I don't have anything against it, but I just don't like it. So no. When every time they say like beer mile, I'm like, no, thank you. And it makes me sleepy. I already want to be sleeping all day. So and then you give me beer. Let's not make it worse.
During Ironman, they do give out Coca-Cola though, and that at mile 12, running after swimming, biking, and then you're on mile 12 at an Ironman, nothing hits like a cold Coca-Cola. Simple
The
sugar.
beauty of simple sugar
It
in that
helps,
moment.
and a little bit of caffeine, just to like
Yeah.
in a Dixie cup. It revitalizes me every time. I always save it for like the last couple miles, and I just
Yeah.
take Coca-Cola shots, basically.
Sometimes I do have my, like when I'm doing those 20 milers or 18 miles, I do have my daughter. Can you just have like in a backup a little Coke?
Yeah, a
Just-
mini bottle of Coke.
Just in case, like if I
Yep.
need like that sip just to, like it wakes you up.
Yeah.
Like magic, like whoa.
Also,
okay.
chicken broth. Chicken broth, that will save you too. If you are
Like
running.
during your run? Or?
Yeah, if you are really, really low on salt, a quick shot of chicken broth.
You know, some people actually carry those soy packages to get that amount of like salt that they need like during the run.
I
Yeah,
need
because
that.
like for example, I'm a heavy sweater. Like it's one of like go
Too.
run 2 miles and like
You're
thing there,
sweating.
right? Like what happened to you? But and I wanted to check like my PhD mentor. Thank you, Dr. Ibarra, for giving that to me. So he gave me this part where you analyze your sweat, right? Yeah, your electrolytes, your total of fluid loss per hour, and your total amount of sodium as well per hour. And I was surprised that I'm almost losing like 500 milligrams of salt per hour. And I'm like, you take a look into the gels or into the salt tablets, and 2 salt tablets is like 100 milligrams
Yeah.
per hour that they contain. So
I recommend to my athletes between 500 and 1,000 milligrams per hour.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And sometimes even more than 1,000. Like if you're running in El Paso heat in August,
especially in August.
you
Yeah.
probably need like 1,500 milligrams per hour.
And we go back to understanding your needs, right? Because
Yeah,
you take you
yeah.
think, oh, I had a gel. Okay, how much of that sodium do you have, of what electrolytes do you have in that gel? Like that's why maybe at the end of your run you feel like all lightheaded and kind of like dizzy and kind of like that.
You also need potassium
Yes.
and sodium too. So if you have like heart palpitations at the end of
Mm-hmm.
a run or end of something, a really hard workout, you're low in potassium. Or if you get muscle cramps, you're low in magnesium. But other people will sweat out, like you're saying with the sweat test, they'll sweat out more or less of one of those. So then just taking, a standard packet isn't really going to do much for you individually because you're sweating out double the amount of potassium and like 50% of the magnesium that
I am, or something like that.
But yeah, it's amazing how much of everything we lose in running that we do not even consider, right? Like again, that it's important to make us feel have a good performance, a good outcome at the end. So all of that is pretty important. All right, guys, it's already noon. We can end take like forever in this podcast. So I've been having so much fun. This is a fun episode. All right, I guess last message to girls out there that you guys, Jazmine, that you want to share?
Confidence.
Okay.
Always come out. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed. We've all gone through stuff. I've gone through my embarrassing moments while running, throwing up, going to have to use a restroom in the middle of a run. And I think it's just important to have that confidence and just knowing that you're worth a lot and being able to think that your body could do a lot more than what you think. You could push yourself to a lot more. But yeah.
Well, thank you, Jazmine, for being here today, for being an amazing example, bringing up, like other girls, friends, and into the running community. I'm sure like you're an amazing example to all of them.
And it's also important to know, we talk about a lot about like what we need to know about running and if it's important to learn about, but don't stress about it. I think it's very important. A lot of people stress and like, oh my goodness, I have to be doing this and this. And no, at the end of the day, enjoy it, have fun with it.
All right. If you lose the fun, then you're missing the whole point of it, right? You're missing the whole point,
yeah.
All right. Nicole?
Stay in your own lane. Run your own race. Don't compare yourself to others, and be smart and ask for help when you need it. But really just do not compare yourself to others, because what one person is doing is not your journey. And, comparison is definitely the thief of joy. So have fun and run your own race.
Great message. Thank you, Nicole, for your words.
Thank
and
you.
obviously for sharing a little bit of the great knowledge that I'm sure that you still can share with us. We can do a whole podcast.
I could just keep talking.
I'm pretty sure. Daniela, a message for the girls out there in El Paso and everywhere else?
Yeah, I feel like if you get anything from this podcast, it's that every running journey is so individual. So just keep that in mind. Maybe you're not progressing as fast as someone else, or maybe your journey looks a little bit different than someone else's, but just listen to us. That's all we talked about today. Like, we all go through different things to get to different points. And in terms of the run club, like Jazmine said, yeah, just have confidence. Don't overthink things. Like, who cares if you're walking the whole 3 miles? Who cares if you're walking 1 mile? If you have to turn back? Like, we have all gone through those hardships in running. So just come on out, and I'm sure you'll find someone just like you at Run Club.
Well, it is true that every one of us is completely different, right? But it is also true that each one of us has like different strengths and different abilities that when we use them, to gain that confidence, to become a better runner, just to enjoy it out there. So thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Jazmine, for being here. Thank you for being like such a beautiful example with when girls support each other, when they find that like-minded mindset and they support each other, they help build that strength and build that confidence in one another. I think that's amazing. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for setting that example. So thank you, everybody. So
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having us.
All right.
Hopefully this helps to every girl out there scared. We're here too.
Yeah.
We were once scared.
I also wanted to say, like, this is so awesome that El Paso has a running podcast. I feel like the running community has grown so much, so it's awesome that you've created this space too to share stories and experiences as well.
in the beginning, it was the idea to kind of like invite health experts to help runners like learn everything that they need from strength, from physical therapists, from dietitians, or a lot of that to be more educational, informative. But then you start meeting like all these wonderful people out there in El Paso community, and it's just, I don't know, I've been loving creating this space for everybody to hear the stories. Sometimes we connect with some people. Oh, I feel like her, I feel like that, or that motivates me, or that's true, or that happened to me. So we grow by listening to others, the journeys of others. So I think the idea is just to connect us and build us together. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, give like, follow. Girls Run Now and 5, please. And if you have any suggestions, if you want to be part of the show, make sure to send a message. I'm more than happy to have you here. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.